Hello. So welcome to Attract, Develop, and Retain. So I was having this conversation with my partner today. We were working on something, and we had something really awesome that happened at the store today that I want to share with you. But we started talking about the power of suggestive selling. So suggestive selling, like what is it, right? So it's the process of offering a customer, additional products or additional products to complement, what they're already buying, right? So you're really trying to get like an additional sale. They're already there buying something. You want to add something to it, right? A plus one. So we do this because we want to increase, boost sales. We want to improve the customer service because we react with the customer. We offer the customer suggestions. So there's an interaction that happens that increases the customer experience. But we also may do it because we want to push a new product or something that we have. So this girl that works for us, her name's Kaylee. We have this new product. It's these, we call it beast fries. It's these fries with cheese and bacon on it and stuff. But we were pushing them really hard today. And she sold like 30 plus of them. I don't know, 30, 35 of them, right? And she didn't even start until like the afternoon. And she did it in this real short window with a short period of time. And she probably increased sales for those couple of hours by $300 or $400, right? Which doesn't sound like a lot, but in the restaurant business, our average ticket, is pretty low compared, for a sale. So for her to increase sales by that type of number with really doing nothing different except offering something to the customer is huge, right? And you say to yourself, well, my God, Alan, man, that sounds super easy. Like, why don't all my employees do this? Well, the problem is they have this fear, right? This fear of rejection. And this is where the conversation with my partner, Mark, got real interesting. And he said to me something that was very wise. So he told me a story about Ted Williams. Ted Williams, the baseball player for the Boston Red Sox. That, Ted Williams is one of the greatest baseball players of all time. And he had a batting average of like 400, right? Which is interesting, right? This guy's the greatest of all time. But yet he actually failed, struck out, or didn't hit the ball more times than he hit it, right? So he hit the ball 40% of the time out of 100, and he's the greatest of all time. So think about that. So think about, the odds that you don't have to do something right every time. So if there's a fear that you have about doing something, whether, in this case, we're talking about suggestive selling, but you could apply it to other things. But you don't have to hit it every single time to be great at it, right? So in this case, Ted Williams playing baseball only hit 4 out of 10 balls, and he's the greatest of all time, right? So I can't wait to take this particular story back to the crew and teach them this power of suggestive selling, because if they have a fear of being rejected, of the customer saying, no, I don't want it, or having an attitude or whatever, it doesn't mean you give up and you don't do it, because man, the upside is huge. So the conversation continued on. And, one of the things I said, well, if you get a low ticket item, right, how do you incentivize the crew to do more of it, right? Because man, Kaylee made this massive impact in this really short amount of time. So how do I repeat that behavior over and over and over again? Because all the upside is clearly in my favor, right? If we can do this, your mind just starts, calculating the math around, what the upside of this is. So the first question would be, how do you add suggestive sell to your daily routine every day? Number two, the next question would be, how do you get your employee to buy in and do it, right? Now they're going to ask a question, right? They're going to say, well, if I do that, what's in it for me, right? Which is the challenge, because if you got a low ticket item and you're trying to sell a lot of them, and you were to give away, I don't know, a gift certificate or something for say $25, did you really, you may not be getting the juice out of it that you need, right? Because you're offsetting the profitability. So he then told me about this book, which was real interesting. This book called Creative Ways to Reward Employees. So I just looked up that book and was kind of scrolling through a PDF that came with it. It's pretty incredible. But the real principle of this is how do we get creative to get our employees to do what we want? So how do we get our how do we get creative to get our employees to do what we want? Because if we can add the power of suggestive selling to our routine every day, no matter what business you're in. I mean, you could sell carpets, right? But the power of suggestive selling, if we can add this into our businesses every day and get our employees to buy in, which means we just have to be creative about getting them to buy in and doing it, man, is a massive upside for